Lake Lanier is disappearing, and 5 million people have no backup plan. Right now, the lake that keeps Atlanta alive has dropped 20 feet, and what's coming up from the bottom is something nobody was supposed to see again. A highway, foundations of houses, the skeleton of a racetrack, half buried in mud, still waiting for a race that ended half a century ago. But here's what they're not telling you. Atlanta was never supposed to depend on this lake in the first place. The dam was built for flood control and power, not drinking water. And yet somehow, an entire city of 5 million people staked their survival on it anyway. And now the droughts are getting longer. The population keeps growing. And the legal battle that 3 states, Georgia, Alabama, and Florida, fought over this water for 35 years, has finally gone silent, which means there's only one question left. When the water runs out, and scientists say it will, what does Atlanta do next? Lake Lanier was not built for Atlanta. That is the part of this story that almost nobody knows. When the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers closed the sluice gates of Beaufort Dam on February 1, 1956, the official plan was simple: flood control, hydropower, navigation. That was it. Drinking water was never part of the authorization Congress approved. Recreation was an afterthought. And yet today, 5 million people wake up every morning and turn on their faucets, completely trusting that this one lake will deliver. That trust was never part of the original deal. Building the lake required a sacrifice that the history books rarely mention. Before the water rose, this was forest, farmland, communities, real places where real people lived. Construction crews floated on the rising water and cut the treetops down, not all the way, just halfway. They left the stumps standing. And those stumps are still there today, lurking beneath the surface, invisible to every swimmer, every boater, every family spending a summer weekend on the water. When the lake drops, they emerge, tall, pale, and ghostly. A forest that has been underwater for 70 years, waiting. But the stumps are not the only things down there. Beneath the surface of Lake Lanier sit old homes, barns, and roads that were simply swallowed when the water rose. There is a stretch of Georgia Highway 53 down there. There are foundations of houses that families built and lost. And there is a racetrack, Gainesville's Looper Speedway, buried under decades of water and sediment. During the catastrophic drought of 2007, when the lake dropped more than 20 feet, the grandstand tops of that speedway broke the surface. One journalist described it as a haunted memory, waiting for spectators who would never come. Here is what makes all of this more than just a strange historical footnote. The city of Atlanta did not contribute a single dollar to the construction of Beaufort Dam. Not 1 cent. Alabama Mayor William Hartsfield spent years lobbying Congress to fund the project, traveling to Washington repeatedly to argue that Atlanta needed this water for its future. Congress approved the money. The dam was built. But the authorization never included drinking water as a purpose. Atlanta simply grew into a dependency that nobody officially sanctioned. And by the time anyone noticed, millions of lives were already attached to that lake. A reservoir built for one reason quietly became the lifeline for an entire American city. And the foundation of that lifeline was shakier than anyone wanted to admit. The water was always borrowed. The question was, how long before someone asked for it back? In 1950, Atlanta was a mid-sized southern city of roughly 500,000 people. Lake Lanier was still being built. The Chattahoochee River still ran free, and nobody was particularly worried about water. There was enough. There had always been enough. That comfortable assumption would not survive the century. Today, Metro Atlanta is home to more than 5.7 million people. It is one of the fastest growing major cities in the entire United States. And nearly every single one of those people depends on the same lake that was designed for a city that no longer exists.